When two-time and defending TA2 champ Cameron Lawrence began the year with 3 straight wins, he seemed unbeatable. But since then, even getting to the podium has been elusive. Now, going into the second half of the season, the Dodge driver has several hungry pursuers nipping at his heels. Who comes out on top today in Mid-Ohio? The answer is next. Welcome to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We're in Lexington, Ohio for coverage of Trans Am, America's road racing series. Today, it's the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge presented by 3-Dimensional Services. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. NASCAR star Michael McDowell will join me for the call in a couple of moments. Shea Adam has our coverage today on Pit Road. A doubleheader weekend for Trans Am. 75 cars entered across the 3 categories. That means TA2 gets its own separate event here at Mid-Ohio. That's what we've got for you coming up in just a couple of moments. Today is the 1-year anniversary of the debut of the Dodge Challenger. More on that in a couple of moments. We've got some great contenders, though, saddled up in Ford Mustangs and Chevrolet Camaros, the 74 Ranch Resort boys. They'll be strong here today. Some of the Mike Cope Racing entries, they'll be tough as well. But a lot of the focus is on today's pole sitter. It's the first anniversary of the debut of those Dodge Challengers, a brand new one under the control of Cameron Lawrence, who's standing by with Shea.
Exactly halfway through the Trans Am Championship, and our points leader, as always, is Cameron Lawrence. Cameron, the last 3 races haven't exactly gone according to plan. It's been a while since you've been on the podium. New car behind you. Is that the secret to getting back up to the winner's circle?
I mean, we hope so. It's been a while since we've been on the podium, like you said, and had a pole, so it's really good to put this new car on pole, but we just kind of needed a clean start, a clean slate, and actually the blue car was the oldest running TA2 chassis out here, so it just had some time on it, and it was probably time for something new, and you know, breaking this car in with a pole is definitely, I think, a good start, and going back to the red, like the old Camaros were, is hopefully bring some good luck to the Dodge, so we'll see how we can do.
Lawrence still the championship leader in the chase for the Trigon Trophy from 3-Dimensional Services Group by 22 over Dylan McIver.
Cameron came out of the gate so fast, but he's got to get back to that rhythm.
Gar Robinson, Adam Andretti tied for 3rd in front of Shane Lewis. All have championship hopes. Earlier, we spoke to Dylan McIver about his hopes of catching Cameron Lawrence.
I think we just had to stay consistent. We have a new car this weekend that will hopefully help us do that. We've been working through a couple issues, and we're not qualified where we want to be, but this whole season we've kind of been behind the 8 ball, just being new to the series, but we've ended up racing really well. So I think racing really well and being consistent is what we had to do to stay up with Cameron and hopefully take some points away from him.
Dylan has been fast all year long. He needs to win races. He's going to bring the fight to Cameron.
Absolutely. We'll see how it plays out here today. Trackside for the command now.
Drivers, start your engines.
All right, let's get it going. The command given by Emily Whitehead, a young cancer survivor who, along with her family, began the EmilyWhiteheadFoundation.org, raising funds for pediatric cancer research. Great to have Emily with us here this weekend at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. 31 Trans Am 2 entries will take the green flag today. Michael McDowell, 19 Camaros, 10 Mustangs, and those 2 Dodge Challengers, one of which in the hands of Cameron Lawrence has been hard to handle. Brand new red race car for Lawrence on the pole here this weekend, alongside a guy we expect to see in victory lane soon. That'd be Shane Lewis.
Shane Lewis, Gar Robinson, teammates, they've been building a lot of momentum as we get into these races.
Lawrence Lowe Shackle start 5th today. There's Tony Ave back at 9th alongside McIver in that brand new Tommy Riggins built Ford Mustang. Joe Evan lines up in the 6th row. Aaron Quine in row number 8. He is a local favorite here, driving instructor in Mid-Ohio. Tommy Archer didn't qualify very well this weekend.
No, Tommy Archer struggling this weekend, but we're glad to see him back in the field and racing.
Tommy will have to come from 18th on the grid here today. Rest of your starting lineup, I want to say hello to Jordan Bernlohr from Lakeville, Minnesota, who qualified 9th in his TA2 debut. Problems with that race car, however, he is unable to start in his Chevrolet Camaro. Beautiful field of Trans Am 2 machines. Several different onboard looks for you today, including a camera in the car of Gar Robinson, the 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolet. That is the 74 car. We'll ride as well with Aaron Quine, driving instructor here at Mid-Ohio. Car number 69. He will start a little deeper in the field, but he has high hopes here today. Going to be exciting, I think, to see what Lawrence can do with this brand new Dodge Challenger. They put that car on pole, first time out for it, and just a field of great contenders behind. There's Archer's machine as we come to the green flag. Getting set to start at Mid-Ohio. We're glad to have you with us, and we are underway with the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge, and Gar Robinson, Shane Lewis bracketing the pole sitter Lawrence.
Lawrence looked to be a little bit timid getting into turn one. Shane Lewis took advantage of it and gets the lead.
Lewis grabbing the point early here, hungry for a victory. We talked about him starting at Sebring. Michael, you've known him a long time, as have I. The guy who's won in every form of sports car there is hasn't broken through yet here at Trans Am.
And they've really been building momentum all year long, improving their program. Cars are getting faster and faster. We saw Gar Robinson challenging for leads at Brainerd. Now they're up front, and maybe they'll get their first win today.
Quick onboard peek from Tom Sheehan's LTK installation camera there. As the field funnels under one of the bridges here in Mid-Ohio, it is still Shane Lewis in front of Lawrence. Gar Robinson third. Let's get on board Lawrence. We've got a camera up on the roof of the one car as they come onto the pit straightaway.
Yeah, this is a great shot. Shows you what Mid-Ohio is exactly like. You have some elevations. This is a tight and twisty course for these cars. We're going to see a lot of bumping and banging. It's very difficult to make these passes without having contact.
Lewis, Lawrence, Gar Robinson, the 34 of Tony Buffamante, who's been good all year, as Lawrence takes a look to the inside. And we're on board with Aaron Klein, a cool shirt FirstEnergy machine, as Joe Stevens goes by on the outside. Klein setting up for the right-handed keyhole turn.
Yeah, the keyhole is very tricky. As you enter, it gets off-camber, downhill, and it leads onto the longest straightaway where you're going to make your passes. Mid-Ohio is a very technical racetrack. It's all about finding your rhythm.
Right now, Shane Lewis in a perfect rhythm. Lawrence in second. There's Buffamante. Lawrence Loshak of the Ray Festus Mustang trying to make a move up. He is fifth right now. Another driver we expect big things from this season as he gets his feet wet. His first full year of pro racing.
And we've seen speed out of Loshak. We've seen him run up front, but putting together those solid, consistent finishes and then challenging for the win at the end of the races. We've seen a lot of speed early in the races for Loshak, but we need to see him get the victory lane.
Top three still nose to tail, starting to pull away on Buffamante a little bit. Fourth in the blue 34 car. Loshak back there at fifth, on board with Gar Robinson sitting third in the 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolet. His dad, George, a great road racer for a long time. The 74 Ranch Resort team's been around, seems like forever. George, a Trans Am competitor back in the heyday, late 80s, early 90s. Very strong for a long time. His son picking up the baton now, sitting third behind Lawrence and the race leader, Shane Lewis.
Yeah, Shane Lewis is controlling this race well. He's still got a lot of pressure from Cameron Lawrence, but really early in this event, there's still a lot to happen. Shane Lewis is a veteran. He's not going to wear out his brakes. He's not going to wear out those tires. He's just going to keep an eye on his wheel, keep a little bit of distance between him and Cameron, and not force the issue.
Top three into the keyhole. Adam Andretti takes a look to the inside of Loshak. That's Andretti in the silver 44. A little further back, Tony Abe. They're still in back of Vern, battling with Kevin Poitras in the 73. Had trouble. The CBRT 83 car, the Mustang. Steve Kent Jr. into the kitty litter, but he gets it back on the racetrack.
Steve Kent did a great job not to get stuck in the gravel trap there. He kept his foot in the throttle and back into the race.
On board with Joe Napoleon, the Turnkey Industries car. Take another look at what happened here from Aaron Klein's onboard view, heading into the keyhole corner. Oh, Kent got dumped, it looked like.
Yeah, it looks like he jumped on the brakes, got a tap from behind, and that set the whole sequence off.
Leaders meantime in heavy battle mode right now under the Honda bridge. Cameron Lawrence deciding, hey, I've had enough of sitting here in second. I want the lead back.
Yeah, Cameron Lawrence has turned up the wick here on this lap, putting the pressure on Shane Lewis.
Heading up toward the carousel. On board with Robinson, sitting third. Great spectator viewing area. I want to know how competitive this field is. Lawrence with the pole today by a couple of hundredths of a second. That's how tight this field is bunched, especially at the sharp end of the grid. In the first 4 or 5 rows, everyone qualifying within a tenth or two as the top three continue to stretch their lead. Lawrence, I think, just didn't get the start he wanted when the green flag came on.
It looked like the camera was being just a little bit conservative. Shane Lewis pounced on him. Obviously, Lawrence has the speed, but he's got Gar Robinson breathing down the back of him as well.
As we watch the battle for fourth here, let's get on board with Shane Lewis, your race leader of the 72 car. The 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolet team out of San Antonio, Texas. Lawrence, Robinson, Buffamante, and Loshak next in line.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services Group, Prototype, Production, Proven, and by FirstEnergy, bringing good energy to the community.
back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Lexington, Ohio. The FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge from the Trans Am 2 category, Trans Am America's Road Racing Series. Here on CBS Sports Network, I'm Rick Benjamin, Michael McDowell alongside Shea Adam on pit road for us. Great battling deeper in the field. Tony Ave of the 70 car, one of the in trouble. The 13 goes around as we watch Ave, a former series champ in Trans Am. The 13 spinning off inside the keyhole. And up on the curving there, Brian Lacroix, one of the Mike Cope Racing entries. His first Trans Am start. He'll try to get fired back up again. Out front, meantime, Cameron Lawrence side by side with Lewis for the lead.
And there was contact made there, and you're going to see that in Mid-Ohio. You have a little bit of an opening, you shoot the gap, and you're hoping the driver sees you. Not anything damaged there. Shane Lewis did a good job, kept his composure, and we'll see if he can get that lead back.
I had the impression that Lewis was maybe holding Cameron Lawrence up a little bit. This is the view from Gar Robinson's on board as Lawrence makes the pass.
Shane Lewis opened the door for a split second, and Cameron Lawrence shot the gap. Slight contact, racing hard, and that's what you see at Mid-Ohio. This is a great race course for these cars.
Lawrence Loshak, meantime, up into fourth spot right now in the Ray Bestis car as they come on to pit straight away, and Lawrence will try to put that Hemi power down and pull away just a little bit. These cars, of course, on bias ply tires, so it doesn't take long to start sliding around. I think that Dieter Lewis just kind of washed out on that.
Yeah, absolutely, and I love it because you can hear the tires squealing on these TA2 class cars. A lot of fun, and that's a big part of this. These bias ply tires, they have a lot of grip, they have a lot of forgiveness, but at the same time, you can work them hard and you can overheat them, so you got to be careful.
Out of the keyhole, Lawrence with a good drive off the corner opens up another car length on Lewis. Right behind him, his teammate Gar Robinson, top three, continuing to pull away from the rest of the field here. But you just have the feeling it's kind of overcast on this Friday afternoon, this race being run on the weekend that the NASCAR series is here as well in Mid-Ohio. And we're going to see a lot more activity as the afternoon wears on.
Absolutely. These guys are just getting started.
The 74 Ranch Resort team watching their two drivers, running second and third behind the two-time defending series champ Cameron Lawrence. The one-year anniversary of the debut of these Dodge Challengers on board with Lewis back in second spot. Let's take a listen as Shane Lewis talks to his crew about the run so far.
Okay, Shane, keep the pressure up on Cameron. Keep the pressure up on Cameron.
Shane Lewis getting some encouragement from his team. Keep the pressure up, keep pushing hard.
As the leaders come down pit straightaway, heading back toward turn one. Remember, here in Mid-Ohio, the green flag comes out over on the backstretch, but that is the start-finish line. On board here with Joe Napoleon in the 91 car. Just moments ago, the Turnkey Chevrolet gets away from Joe. He goes around and onto the grass, but he's okay. We'll try to get that car refired as it bounces back up onto the asphalt. Wants to get back into the competition here. A driver who's learning about Trans Am racing, his first full season here. There's Aaron Klein in the Spillfix Chevrolet, the 69 driving instructor here. Thanks to his cousin Tim, he also has FirstEnergy, the event title sponsor, on board for this event.
It's kind of funny that he is the sponsor of the race, but he didn't realize at first that I ran in the series. And so we talked, and obviously we put the decals on the car, and we're excited to have FirstEnergy on board, and we're going to try and represent.
You've driven a lot of cars around the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Complex before, but what's it like to drive a Trans Am Chevy?
Oh, this thing's a rocket. There's nothing like it. It's hard to describe, but to go down these back straightaways at 165 mile an hour and just shifting gears, it's music to my ears.
Shea Adams speaking to Aaron Klein before we got started here today at Mid-Ohio. Leader is Cameron Lawrence in that red Dodge, the number one, Mike Miller's car. Starting to pull away a little bit now from Shane Lewis and Gar Robinson. Shane having a little trouble keeping the pressure on, Michael.
And it's interesting here because there's parts of the racetrack where Shane will close the gap, and then there's other parts on the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course where Cameron Lawrence stretches that challenger's legs. Very interesting to see where those two cars are making gains. Shane Lewis is very good through the tight, twisty S's, but it seems like Cameron Lawrence through turn 1, 2, and down the straightaway can pull Shane a little bit.
A couple of major chassis builders in the series. Chaz Howe now, his dad, the legendary short track racer Ed Howe up in Michigan. Mike Cope down in Florida. These are Howe chassis machines at the front of the field there at the moment, but the Howe cars very competitive, as are the Cope cars. And it's an interesting battle within the manufacturers, and some teams massage those chassis quite a bit. Tommy Riggins building a new car for Dylan McEmern, who's trying to get close to the leaders now. That's a Cope chassis, but Tommy has extensively modified that car. Leaders on the backside of the racetrack here at Mid-Ohio, trying to put some pressure on Cameron Lawrence, who has got now, what, about a 4-car length advantage over Shane Lewis.
Absolutely. Shane Lewis has got Gar Robinson, his teammate, behind him. And these guys have to be calculated. They can't let Cameron Lawrence get too far out, but at the same time, they don't need to be holding each other up.
Uh-oh. Trouble for Tom Sheehan in the 97. The LTK Insulation Technology Chevy, he is dead stick on the straightaway going up toward the keyhole. And may well bring out a full course yellow. We will see.
And this is not where you want to be stopped on the racetrack. Very high speed part of the course. And, you know, definitely not a place as a driver that you feel comfortable sitting there.
Sheehan grinding on the starter, but no fire in that Chevrolet motor. So the leader's heading toward turn 1 now. Sheehan, when I looked at the car on the left there, driver's left, you would think, well, that's kind of in the racing line pretty much, although we have seen most drivers take a little more mid-track entry into the keyhole there. Local yellow being waved right now as Lawrence, Lewis, and Robinson make their way past. The top 3 continuing to extend their advantage here at Mid-Ohio.
Now, Cameron Lawrence has actually lost a little bit of gap to Shane Lewis over the last 2 laps, and I think this battle is going to continue on. Like I said before, it's very interesting to see where that Camaro can make up that ground, but you got to be able to do it in the areas you can pass. It's not just about being faster than the car in front of you, it's about being able to make that pass and challenge for the lead.
Top 3 with almost that entire straightaway's advantage now on the Adam Andretti car. Ron Keith back there, Kevin Poitras. They're still in McIvern in the 24 car in front of Loshak. He's up to 7th now. Let's climb on board with Loshak in the Ray Bestis machine back in 8th. Little telemetry on Loshak's car here this weekend. And McIvern leads him into the S's, and now full course yellow being displayed for Tom Sheehan up there at the entrance to turn 2. Meantime, former Trans Am champ Tony Ave brings the Lamers Motor Racing Mustang onto pit road. They've had problems with that car. We'll try to find out what the issue is for Tony Ave as Lawrence continues to lead. Back at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. Trouble for Tony Ave in the 70 car. He's with Shay.
Tony Ave, your day is done. What happened out there?
Looks like we blew a head gasket. I had gotten some stuff on the grill. It was quite a battle there early, and I went off and got it full of grass, so I think we just overheated it a little bit.
You've already won a race so far this year, though, at Lime Rock, so what's the plan to come back for Road America?
I need to win some more of these things, right? So for Denny Lamers and DJ and everybody else that helps me out, they pay us for wins, so we need a few more of those.
Tony Ave hoping to get back to victory lane soon. Tight turnaround for the series from Mid-Ohio to Road America in just a very few days. Talk about contrast. This is a 2.2-mile twisty racetrack. That's a 4-mile wide open spaces kind of place. Green flag back out. Lawrence leads him down into 1. Lewis and Robinson, but look at this, 2 by 2 right behind him. Ron Keith on the button there in the red 25, trying to get up alongside Adam Andretti.
And this is your best opportunity on the restarts to make up positions. You got to be aggressive, but you got to be calculated at the same time.
Shane Lewis, Cameron Lawrence side by side, and Shane Lewis retakes the lead, and here's Scar Robinson. On the inside, Robinson, who's third, Watts second from the 1 car. Lawrence able to hang on into second spot. Andretti is fourth. Here comes Dylan McIvern. Lawrence, Loshak, they're rubbing on each other. And Loshak gets by into 5th.
Now, Dylan's done a great job early in this race. Remember, he started 10th. He's been making steady way towards the front, and he's one of those drivers that we're used to seeing in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd on the podium. So by the end of this race, I imagine we're going to see him pushing for those top 5s.
Take a look at Lawrence Loshak here on board the Ray Bestis powertrain Mustang as we watch him work the wheel, and you can see what the telemetry shows there, running about 5,500 RPM through the S's here in Mid-Ohio. There's McIvern in the 24 car in front of Keith and Poitras. Joe Stevens back there, and the other challenger, the team car to the 1 of Lawrence, as Lawrence has to settle right now at least for second behind Shane Lewis once again.
And it seems like Cameron Lawrence's car just does not fire off as fast. We saw on the start and now on the restart, Shane Lewis is able to get to the button fast and really have good pace. And it seems that it takes Cameron Lawrence maybe 2 or 3 laps to get some heat in the tires before his car comes in.
Cameron Lawrence, a 2-time defending champion in Trans Am 2, but a young race car driver. Shane Lewis has been doing this for 20-plus years. Is that an experience thing?
And it may be. It might just be getting your tires prepped. And what I mean by that, you run around and you got lots of heat in the tires, and when you slow down under caution, you get a lot of rubber buildup. Shane Lewis may have done a better job just cleaning up his tires.
Dylan McEvoy, meantime, onto the grass, exiting the keyhole corner there in the black 24 car. But still shown back in 6th position. Adam Andretti 4th in the silver ECC 44. Loshak 5th in the 5 car. The Ray Bestis machine 6th belongs to McEvoy, who triumphed at Brainerd back on 4th of July weekend. Lawrence right up under the back bumper of Shane Lewis. Here comes Gar Robinson to join the fun.
And this is what Shane Lewis wants to see. He wants to see Gar Robinson putting the pressure on Cameron Lawrence. That allowed him to stretch out his lead. But Cameron quickly gets back on his marks and is pushing forward.
Lewis loves seeing that battle. If those two guys behind him start side by side a little bit, that'll allow Lewis to pull away, and that's what he's doing, at least by a car length.
And this is a great battle that everybody's pushing hard. You see the cars sliding around.
Out of the carousel, back to the pit straightaway one more time. On a single file action right now, but Lewis has his hands full with the lead heading toward the bridge in turn 1. Adam Andretti looks like he's starting to reel in the 3rd place car of Gar Robinson a little bit.
Well, absolutely. And you're sitting back there, you're 4th, you're 5th, you're watching these leaders battle, and you're just sitting back watching it, waiting for that opportunity that you can make up 1 or 2 spots. But at the same time, you're calculating, you're figuring out, okay, where do I need to be? Where am I going to make these passes when I get late into the race?
This is a doubleheader weekend for Trans Am here in Mid-Ohio. The TA2 event, Trans Am and TA3 will run their own race this weekend as well. Adam Andretti doing double duty again. He did it at Lime Rock. They brought their Trans Am Corvette. So the transition between a 850 horsepower lighter car and this 600 horsepower heavier Trans Am 2 car, is that hard for a driver?
Not only is it hard with what you just mentioned, the engines, the weight, all those things, but this bias ply tire is very different than driving on a radial. So it's going to take a little bit of a different style and a little bit different feel. And that's really going to be up to Adam Andretti to see which one he excels at.
Our Replay XD onboard views and Gar Robinson's 74 car sideways. Speaking of those bias ply tires, there you go.
He had them lit up, came over the crest sideways, very good recovery.
Lewis, Lawrence, Robinson, 1, 2, 3. Andretti 4th in the silver machine. Loshak is 5th. McEvoy 6th. You've got some real young talent. And the veteran Shane Lewis at the head of the class here as we work toward halfway at the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge in Mid-Ohio.
And I'm so impressed with this TA2 category. We look at the field now. The top 10 is all on one straightaway. We're 5-6 laps into the restart here. Everybody still knows the tail. It just shows how competitive and how good of a job the Trans Am Series has done of making these cars not spec. We see lots of manufacturers. We see lots of different styles, but how competitive these cars are.
The ECC 44 of Adam Andretti in 4th position now.
And you see Adam, he's sniffing the air. He's getting the toe down the straightaway. He wants to pop out late, hard on the brakes, and make that pass.
There he is, taking a look to the inside of Robinson for 3rd. Can't get the job done this time.
And Gar did a very good job on the brakes there. Got in very deep as late as he could to protect that 3rd spot.
Battle is for 3rd as we come over the hill and through the S's one more time here in Mid-Ohio. 5th spot is Loshak. Lawrence, meantime, you got a glimpse of the 1 up alongside the car of Shane Lewis briefly. Lewis able to get back into the lead. He's getting on board with Lawrence's Dodge here. Heading under one of the bridges toward the carousel. Lewis able to throw that 72 car around with no problem at all. Oh, and he goes sideways and around. Shane Lewis into the carousel, spins out of the lead.
Oh, man, I'm not sure what happened there. It looks like the back end just came around. Not sure if there's oil on the racetrack there or Shane just got in too deep, but very unfortunate to hand the lead over to Cameron that easy. And Gar Robinson is fighting back, getting that 74 Ranch car back into the lead.
Robinson with the preferred line on the inside of 1, pouncing on Lawrence as they head to the keyhole here. Adam Andretti right there in 3rd now. Wait to see what develops. Robinson and Lawrence leaning on each other in the 2nd corner.
Oh, this is a great battle. They're both not giving each other an inch, fighting as hard as they can.
Heading toward the flag stand where the race starts from. And it's Gar Robinson opening up a couple of car lengths. But look at the 4 or 5 cars nipping at his heels. Here's Andretti on the outside trying to take 2nd away from Lawrence. Adam Andretti sweeps into 2nd.
That was a great pass. Very hard to do on the outside, late on the brakes. We've seen so much speed out of Adam Andretti. We haven't seen him get that ECC car to victory lane. He's always fast. Maybe today's the day he gets that car into victory.
All of this helping Gar Robinson extend his lead by a couple of car lengths. Not a huge lead by any means here. But when you have a couple of guys behind you battling, boy, you love to see that in your rearview mirror.
No, absolutely. Gar Robinson right now has to focus on hitting his marks, not making mistakes, but not backing down either. You can't stop pushing hard in this Trans Am Series.
Robinson, Andretti, Lawrence, Dylan McIvern, and Loshak, your top 5. We'll be right back in Mid-Ohio.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Racing Electronics, #1 in race communications worldwide. And by Replay XD. The new Prime X is here. Record, replay.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio, the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. Trans Am 2 in the spotlight today on CBS Sports Network. I'm Rick Benjamin, NASCAR star Michael McDowell alongside Shea Adam with our coverage on pit road. Cameron Lawrence, the two-time defending champion, wants to get around Adam Andretti and take another shot at the leader here in the waning laps. We'll see what happens. Andretti, oh, and there's contact, and Andretti wiggles and goes off into the grass.
Very unfortunate for Adam Andretti. Doing a great job. Cameron Lawrence saw the gap, shot for it, just like he did with Shane Lewis. Unfortunately, Adam got shoved off the racetrack.
But he's able to collect it, get back on the surface, and continue on, although losing a lot of valuable car lengths. We're on lap 26. Not that many laps to go today in the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge, 100 miles. Here it is. The one car, Lawrence on the inside, just putting a little bit of sheet metal on the 44.
And Cameron had a great idea there, but he ran out of road. At that point, he just needed to commit to backing out of it. Tried to get to the outside here, setting up for this corner. Wasn't far enough alongside Adam to pull off that pass. And you're going to see contact. It's part of racing. But unfortunately, Adam Andretti was on the wrong side of it.
Lawrence in the red #1 running second. McIvern now up to third. He was the Brainerd winner. And this is a brand new ride. Talked to Tommy Riggins, his crew chief and the team principal for this effort. And I said, you know, you won. Why would you change cars? He said, well, we think this car, we can develop a lot more. This is brand new. They were able to kind of start from scratch, and Tommy moved some of the front suspension mounting points the way he wanted them on the bare bones chassis from Mike Cope, and said, you know, I think this car is going to be a lot more drivable. But they had to do a lot to the car on race morning. This morning, they had body work off the car. They were still working on some of the plumbing and wiring.
And that's hard to do mid-season. You're starting to build some chemistry. You know what you want. You know what you feel. But at the same time, racing is always moving and always advancing. And if you don't, your competition will. So I understand completely what they're trying to do. It's not just to gain an advantage. It's to keep up with those guys that are making improvements all the time.
Shane Lewis has the visor down now, racing by Joe Stevens, the teammate to Cameron Lawrence, to pick up a spot. Came back on the racetrack back in 12th. He's up to 9th here after that spin.
And Shane Lewis, he's done a great job all race, was leading early. If you guys missed it, got loose, spun out, heading into the final corner there. And that's the worst feeling as a driver when you make a mistake like that. And there's nothing more motivating than saying, hey guys, I'm gonna get these spot backs, and you just start pushing hard.
Shane heading toward the place where he spun a few moments ago. Meantime, his teammate Gar Robinson, the race leader, continuing to open up the gap on Lawrence in that brand new red #1. New Dodge Challenger debuting for Lawrence 1 year to the day after they brought the first Challenger out here in Mid-Ohio in 2014. Robinson settling in nicely. Here comes McIvern. Talk about a guy who's been able to cinch up his belts and gain some ground here. Boy, he has been relentless in the second half of this one.
Absolutely, just pushing forward towards the front, started 10th all the way up to 3rd spot.
Eric Quine, meantime, in his 69 car, the Chevrolet, the cool shirt FirstEnergy machine. Nice run to 11th. Brand new car for Aaron, just getting that car ready. He says, hey, I really want to take a run of this TA2 thing. I'm going to start here at my home racetrack, and he's turned in a nice ride here today. Adam Andretti in the 44 after that spin, the contact with Lawrence. Back on the racetrack, also doing a very nice job and starting to put down some consistent laps as he tries to close in again on the leaders.
And if we happen to get another caution before this end of the race and bunch the field up, if Adam Andretti has the opportunity to get to Cameron Lawrence's bumper, he will do that. He hasn't lost too many spots, and if he can keep his composure, by the end of this race, he might have a shot at getting back on the podium.
As the leaders head up toward the carousel one more time, Michael McDowell, tell me about driving on these bias ply tires. Is it possible that Lewis damaged the tire when he went around, or are these things pretty salvageable?
Well, you know, obviously anytime you slide the tire, it takes a beating. But a bias ply tire, the one thing great about it, it's more sensitive to heat than it is actual wear. So for that moment, yeah, maybe the car had to recover for a lap or two, but Shane Lewis has got all the grip he needs to drive to the front. I love racing on bias ply tires. What's so fun to watch these TA2 cars is they slide around so much more, and that is because that bias ply tire allows you to slide the cars.
Cameron Lawrence trying to reel in the race leader, Gar Robinson, the 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolet. There's Shane Lewis's teammate. Back behind Loshak and Bufamani. Ron Keith with a nice run today in the 25. And here's Tommy Archer, the C3 Controls Chevrolet out of Duluth, Minnesota. At 54, Tommy and his brother Bobby, the legendary Archer brothers, back in business, fielding cars in Trans Am. Tommy struggled. He should have won at his home track of Brainerd back on the 4th of July weekend. He'll tell you that. But struggling a bit here this weekend. They had fuel system problems. In fact, they put in an entire new fuel system in the car before the start here today. He said, hey, I'm not sure what we've got, because honestly, we didn't think we had any issues. They got here and they couldn't get fuel into the carburetor. So now they think they've got it solved, but he has just not been on pace today.
Rick, we mentioned about Shane Lewis leading this race earlier. Here's what happened. And really, this happens. You just get in too deep. As you see, there's an elevation change. The rear tires get light, and he just got in a little bit too deep. Unfortunate.
Shane Lewis, though, trying to charge here in the late going, closing in on Ron Keith. He's sitting 8th right now. He would like to get to the top 5 before the checkered flag in Mid-Ohio. Welcome back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Lexington, Ohio. Trans Am on the CBS Sports Network. TA2 in the spotlight today, the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. I'm Rick Benjamin, Michael McDowell alongside. Jay Adam with our coverage on pit road. Gar Robinson, your leader. Cameron Lawrence running second. McAvern and Andretti, the top 4. Starting to bunch it up here as we get inside the last 7 or 8 laps of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Adam Andretti's done a great job recovering here. He's caught the lead pack. Dylan's putting the pressure on Cameron Lawrence. There is going to be a fight before we get to the end of this race.
On board with Lawrence, looking out the back end of that brand new 1 car back at McAvern. We took the measure of Lawrence and the rest of the TA2 field at Brainerd in Minnesota back on 4th of July weekend. Down into the gentle right-hander that takes you to the S's here in Mid-Ohio. McAvern sitting 3rd in that 24. Done a nice job today to bring that car up after starting back in 10th position. Here's Tommy Archer, meantime. Talked about him earlier, the C3 Chevrolet in front of Ron Keith now. Talked about Tommy and the comments he had made to me earlier about the fuel system problems, and they went to work on that car. Pretty much tore it apart. He and Ron Keith battling with the off-site Image Ford, the C3 Control Chevrolet. They put on a great race. Archer getting by Keith just a few moments ago to pick up that spot and try to climb toward the top 5. Before the start, Shea talked to Archer about the strategy he would use today.
I think my strategy is pretty much what I normally do, is drive hard, save the tires, and try to beat as many cars as I can beat. You know, I think that if we could somehow get up in the top 5 or 6, I think that would, considering where we're starting, that would be like a win. And we're a never give up team. You know, we've been working hard since we got here, and the car's working great. You know, all the people from C3 Controls are here to back me up, so we're just going to push hard and see where we end up.
And Tommy Archer's doing a great job. Started way back in the field, all the way up into 9th, the top 10. He's got a few more spots to go to hit his goal.
On board here with Lawrence in the Dodge, the 1 car from the Mike Miller stable. 2nd spot behind Gar Robinson in the 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolet Camaro. Heading down the backstretch here. A gentle right-hand corner, turn 3, and then off into the S's. Lawrence is right there on his back deck.
Absolutely. You couldn't put a piece of paper between the bumpers getting into the corner there. And Cameron's doing exactly what he needs to do. We're late in this race. You got to put that pressure on, make Gar to have a mistake or potentially open up that hole that you can shoot into.
McAvern in 3rd, probably licking his chops a little and saying, hey, boys, go ahead and tangle. I'm going to pick up the pieces if it works out that way. Back on board with Joe Napoleon in the Turnkey Industries 91, the Chevrolet. Gets spun earlier. Still kind of battling with that Chevrolet. Back to the leaders. Robinson, Lawrence, McAvern, Adam Andretti back there in the 44 car. Survived an off-course excursion earlier to hang in 4th. I'm impressed with that. Usually you get off into the grass, especially where he did over on the backside here. You got no chance to get back into contention. Adam Andretti's done a nice job.
Adam Andretti's done a great job recovering. And don't forget, he was all the way into grass. The radiator was clogged. He's very fortunate he hasn't had any overheating issues.
For 6th meantime, Lawrence Loshak in the 5. The Ray Festus machine, Tony Bufamani, and Mike Cope's 34 car. 6th and 7th. Buffamani has been quick all season long. Hasn't been able to cash in yet and come up with a lot of good finishes, but a guy everyone knows they've got to pay attention to.
Absolutely. We always see Tony in the top 5, top 7, and today's been very different. We've seen 3 cars just break away and have a lot of speed over the field and very tight racing throughout the rest of the TA2 category.
Well, on board here with Guy Robinson, your race leader. 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolet leading Lawrence, Andretti, McEvern, and Lawrence Loshak. We'll be right back in Mid-Ohio. Back in Mid-Ohio, battles raging everywhere in the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. Alongside Michael McDowell, I'm Rick Benjamin. Shea Adam on pit road. Tony Buffamani putting lots of heat on Lawrence Loshak. Running order top of your screen, courtesy of 3-Dimensional Services Group. There's Tony Buffamani 7th, Joe Stevens 8th, Tommy Archer in 9th, Keith, Poitras, and Klein. They've had a great battle all day. Buffamani just wearing Loshak out here. Looks to dive to the inside, and one can't get there.
I love it. He's trying high. He's trying low. Those cars are sliding around, getting late into this race. Now is time to pounce.
Loshak sitting behind Dylan McEvern. Joe Evan back at 28th. Prosiak, who was quick early. Sheehan on the track with that engine that wouldn't fire earlier, gets scored in 31st and last here today. Up in front meantime. Guy Robinson still your leader. Lawrence in second spot of the Dodge as they navigate the S's. In these cars, Michael, weighing what they do and with the bias plies, you're going to use those curbs an awful lot, aren't you?
Absolutely. The curbs not only help rotate the car, just get that angle right so you can get back to the gas. And as you get late to the race, you see a lot of dirt on the racetrack, a lot of debris. And as you run, you come over these blind cresting hills and you don't know what's on the other side. Right now is when you just forget about all that and you just go as hard as you can.
Guy Robinson in the dirt, sliding sideways, heading toward the carousel. We talked to Tommy Archer. Oh, and McEvern on the outside, wants second spot, takes it away from Cameron Lawrence. Dylan McEvern, the winner at Brainerd. Great move in that brand new race car to climb to second. 2 laps to go, 2 to go in Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Dylan did a great job. As you saw, Gar Robinson almost spun all the way off the racetrack, and he took the opportunity to get around Cameron Lawrence.
And if you're chasing and you see the leader get sideways, you think, hey, I got a shot here.
Well, it gives you an opportunity to know what's coming up.
McEvern on the inside into 2, leaning on the race leader Robinson, gunning for the top spot.
And they battle side by side down the straightaway. McEvern has the advantage going down into turn 4, but we've seen Gar Robinson be able to defend on the outside.
McEvern by a fender. Robinson second, not giving up. Lawrence right there to watch the fun and try to capitalize. Still door to door into the S's. McEvern gets turned. Got sideways. Robinson gets into him. Body parts everywhere. Lawrence off the racetrack, back on sideways, and that gives Gar Robinson a clear road.
That was a lot of action and a one shot right there. Gar Robinson ended up on the shiny end of this. Let's see exactly what happened.
Side by side, there's the contact again. McEvern in the 74. Looks like McEvern maybe turned down on Gar a little bit there.
And it's really tough to see from that perspective. What it is 2 guys battling hard for the lead late in the race, and something's got to give.
On board here with Robinson. There's the rub with the 24. I think that Dylan McEvern just turned across the bow of the 74 there.
Well, absolutely, and Gar could have gave him a little bit of break there too, but you're 2 laps to go, you're leading the race, you're not going to cut anybody any slack.
We're done. I got a flat tire. Get as many points you can. Go as far as you can. You only get 2 laps. Keep going, buddy.
They don't want to bring Cameron Lawrence to pit road. Had that spin a moment ago. We were on board with him in the aftermath, one of our replays of that incident over in the S's. Here's Shane Lewis, meantime, Adam Andretti. But the race leader is Gar Robinson, who emerged from that without any damage at all, it appears.
Absolutely, did a great job. But what's crazy about this scenario, Shane Lewis is in second place of this race after all that mess. Adam Andretti has a spin, Shane Lewis has a spin. Now they're looking at being on the podium.
Field saw the white flag last time by on the pit straightaway. Half a lap to bring it home for the 72. And the race leader, the 74, the 274 Ranch Resort team cars. But the ECC Chevrolet of Adam Andretti would love nothing more than to take over second spot. Cameron Lawrence tried to bring it home with that flat tire, but has to pit with 1 lap remaining. He was told on the radio, you heard that, stay out, get points. but it was too much damage apparently to continue, and that will hurt Lawrence greatly in the final running order. Heading to the carousel one last time, Guy Robinson off the final corner will head toward the checkered flag and try to pick up the victory today here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. It looks like it will be a 1-2 sweep for the 74 Ranch Resort team of George Robinson. Gar is your winner. Shane Lewis comes home in second. Adam Andretti rounds out the podium. Talk about comeback stories. The 72 and the 44 were nowhere for a large portion of this.
Yeah, I am blown away. What a great finish. What a great race we had today. I cannot wait to see this interview with Gar Robinson in his first win.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services Group, Prototype, Production, Proven, and by FirstEnergy, bringing good energy to the community.
Wild action here today at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. Trans Am 2 in the spotlight today. Let's take one more look at what happened. Dylan McEvoy in the 24 had the lead. Guy Robinson with some contact. Cameron Lawrence, the points leader, gets turned as well, and Guy Robinson comes home with his first career win. He's with Shay.
Your first win in the Trans Am Series. That was a hard-fought battle. Talk me through that last couple of laps.
Man, I felt Cameron breathing down my neck, and then Dylan came up, and it was just hard racing to the end. It's awesome. There's no way to do it like that. That's awesome.
Your first win, a giant monkey off your back, and a huge leap in the championship standings. You feeling like you can be champion at the end of this year?
That's the goal.
Guy Robinson reaching one of his goals with the win today. His teammate Shane Lewis spinning out of the lead here, Michael.
Shane Lewis spins out of the lead, goes all the way to the back, and is back on the podium, second place. He's with Shay.
Great job out there. You were driving like a man possessed.
I wanted it bad, you know, I mean, to lead in here. And, you know, I was a little disappointed in Cameron. You know, I like the guy and everything, but he put a lot of fenders on me, wheels on me, beat up me pretty hard. So once I got back in front of him, he wanted to stay there. And I don't know, I just got in the last corner, didn't do anything different, and it just came around on me. And then they say, oh yeah, a little bit of light oil there. So I guess I was the first guy to it. But to come back there, to be behind Gar for his first win, our 1-2, it's awesome. I'm happy for the team, really are. Glad to be part of Robinson Racing for sure.
From that spin where Shane Lewis came back on the racetrack 12th, climbing all the way to second with the help of that late contact over on the backside.
A 1-2 finish for 74 Ranch Resort cars. Unbelievable. They've been making progress all year long, and Gar Robinson gets his first career win. Very exciting.
A guy who's got to feel disappointed with the outcome today, but who overall certainly put a very nice day together, driving a brand new race car. Dylan McEvoy coming home third, and he's with Shay.
Well, Dylan, we wanted to talk to you after the race, not under these circumstances, though. What happened those last couple of laps?
Well, first of all, I got to thank the crew for putting a great car on the track. We worked all weekend, starting from pretty much bare car, no testing at all, and ended up having a pretty decent car for the race other than not having power steering. But looks like I just got squeezed a little bit there by Gar at the end. I thought I was clear of him, but apparently he didn't see me or something. I don't know.
Another look at what happened in the S's here late in the race. Michael McDowell, again, it just looks to me like Dylan turned in a little too much.
I think Dylan thought he was clear, and Gar knew that he wasn't. And it's just hard battling for the race win. It's unfortunate for Dylan, but Gar's in victory lane.
Cameron Lawrence took a big hit, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really tight track, and there's really only a couple places where you can pass easily and make a clean pass. And, you know, everyone was racing each other hard, and, you know, I didn't really have a problem with any of it. You know, Gar got in me a little bit. I mean, it's just close racing, and it happens here. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, I wish, obviously, things ended a little differently, but, you know, it's kind of racing, and I'm not too upset with it. You know, the ending obviously could have been a little better, and, you know, I think some people got a little heated, and it was, but that's short track racing here, and, you know, we'll come back. I think we're still in good shape, and we'll come back strong for the end.
5 races remain in the chase for the Trigon Trophy from 3-Dimensional Services Group and Trans Am 2. Cameron Lawrence's lead now down to 6 points.
And Gar Robinson's only 6 points behind him, but Dylan's right there, another 6 points. The top 5 is so close here, it's anybody's championship.
5 races to go. Lawrence, with that 17th place finish today, suffers a big hit in his battle to retain his championship. A wild one in Mid-Ohio. Doesn't get any better than this. We've got another one for you coming up very shortly from Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For Michael McDowell, Shay Adam, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating your first-time winner today, rookie Gar Robinson out of San Antonio. Antonio, Texas. Thanks for watching Trans Am, America's Road Racing Series on CBS Sports Network. We'll talk to you next time.